Rotarians, you know it's time to rise, and I'm sorry to interrupt your wonderful lunch. Well, as we all know, we're coming to the end of the school year, and I ran across this high school teacher that told me this story. She was finishing up the school year and giving an oral quiz at the end of a history class. And she asked one of the students if he knew what Roe v. Wade was all about. The student said, let me think. Then he answered that he thought it was the decision that George Washington had to make when he decided to cross the Delaware. Today is National Shrimp Day. Americans eat more shrimp than any other seafood. The word prawn is used loosely to describe any large shrimp, sometimes referring to it as a jumbo shrimp. Of course, there are many dishes that you can cook shrimp with, but it always needs to be a short cook because it's better if it's not overcooked. It's got lots of benefits. It is a health food. It's low in calories. It has omega-3, calcium, iodine, and protein. But one little problem, there is a downside. It's one of the most common food allergens. So let's continue our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Andy Tompkins is going to do our Rotary Minute today.
Thank you. Well, first of all, welcome to our guests today. We're honored to have you here, and we're looking forward to hearing from you. My theme for the Rotary Minute today is that it is a great time to be a member of Rotary, and especially the Downtown Rotary Club. I want you to think about why you joined Rotary. I first joined Rotary, believe it or not, in 1979 when I was a school superintendent in El Dorado, Kansas. At that time I joined because I thought I should be part of a local club, and it would give me the opportunity to meet a variety of people from the community in a pretty quick way. And that's exactly what it did. Since that time I've been a member of 4 other clubs. In most instances, club meetings were a time for fellowship and the opportunity to hear a speaker on current issues. But today, we not only meet for fellowship and learn about our community as well as the major issues of the day, but we also get a chance to practice our motto of service above self through a variety of service projects, and we have the chance to interact through our student exchange, Rotary Exchange, international trips, and programs such as the one today with people from throughout the world. I cannot think of a time in my association with Rotary when being a member is so fulfilling and worthy of my time and commitment. I challenge each of you today to reflect on your Rotary experience and hope that you also will come to appreciate the progress we've made and the exciting opportunities we now enjoy. Thank you.
Our guest introductions today will be given by Eugene Williams. And of course we have many, many guests, and he will introduce a portion of the guests today.
Thank you, Madam President. If you will, what we will do is that I will introduce our guests, and if the guests would please stand and remain standing, and we would like to greet you individually. Okay, so please remain standing. Our first is Palik Patel. Would you please stand? Welcome, Palik. Dr. Aaron Palik. Hi, Aaron. Bina Palik. Hi, Bina. James Jeffries. Hi, James. Jeff Pavone. Hi, Jeff. Lori Rowe. Hi, Lori.
Another hat on, so you got to be patient with me.
Craig Klein. not nice to fool the person taking pictures, Craig. Baron Barr. Hi, Baron. Baron's from one of our other clubs. Yeah. And Roger Underwood. Hi, Roger. You should just join this club, Roger. All right. Thank you all, and welcome to Rotary.
This month's featured charity is Easter Seals. Excuse me.
We get one more guest.
Oh.
This is Lafka Sherpa.
Hi, what's my name? Oh, hi, we're glad you're here. This month's featured charity is Easter Seals Capper Foundation, and I think almost everybody here knows what that is. But one very interesting tidbit is that Rotary International's very first grant of $500 was given in 1930 and was donated to Easter Seals, which of course now is part of the Capper Foundation. So Rotary goes back a long way. I do have a couple of announcements today, and I've always promised that we try to keep you up to date on what happens with our board meetings. We had a board meeting yesterday, and I want to give you one piece of information from that. For the last 2 or 3 months, our board has been working on new membership types or categories or options to give people flexibility and introduce people to Rotary who might not otherwise have a chance to become part of this wonderful organization. I put full information about the 2 different categories on your table, so I'll just give you a little snippet. The first of those categories is going to be called the Community Service Membership. And as you know, we've had the Venture Club, but we decided to make some alterations to that, so this will replace the Venture Club. And members of this in a community service type will pay only dues plus the meals as they come. They are asked to attend 1 meeting or social per quarter, and they're also asked, in exchange for that, to provide 15 hours of service per year, according to the 5 areas of focus of Rotary, and that's going to go by the 4-way test. There are a few other little details on that as well. The second of the new membership types will be the business membership, and there will be 2 different categories under that. First of all, the principal business member, and this will be the main person representing the organization, and it's basically, that person is basically like a traditional member like us. The second will be an associate business member, and this person will be part of that same organization. The organization can be a corporation, a nonprofit, as long as it's an organization. And this person will also be a full Rotarian, but will pay quarterly dues and pay for meals when they attend. And again, we hope this will open it up to some opportunities to people who have not been able to participate in Rotary for one reason or another. So if you know people that might fit into one of these areas, please invite them and tell them that this is a great organization and that we'd like to have them consider membership. Carrie Norbury, will you please come forward? We have a red badge presentation. Is Carrie still here? I know I saw her earlier. We should have music or a drum roll or something. Carrie is one of our very newest members. We have several. She's the only one who's here today. But we would like to introduce Carrie to you and you to her. Carrie is the Associate Director at Washburn Tech. Is that right? Admissions. And she was sponsored by Eric Grosbich, and she's already been very busy with career days, and we are very, very glad to welcome her as one of our newest members. And Carrie, this is your red badge. You will soon learn how to turn that into a blue badge, which is the goal. And we're very happy to welcome you as a new member. So let's rise and give Carrie a Rotary welcome. special guest today has already been introduced, but I need to tell you something about him. He's very amazing. This gentleman is a prominent Rotarian in India. Dr. Arun Parikh, if you please stand again, is a physician from India. He has been district governor and charter president of his club for 33 years in the Rotary Club of Himmatnagar, India. Arun is completing a unique project in his home country, and this project is providing 290 toilets in rural areas of India where there were none before. This was done with a global grant, and the cost of this project is $160,000, and that just tells you how much funding is available through Rotary International and as a global grant. Arun is joined today by his wife Beena, if she would stand once again, and his niece Palak Patel, waving her hand back there. Palak is planning to join our club, and we are very, very glad to have all of you here today. So thank you for your long-term work at Rotary. And we have our Mayor Michelle de la Isla, and she's going to come and welcome our guests.
Thank you all for being here. It is with great pride that we celebrate having diplomats from 6 different countries here among us today. And what a great place for them to come into Rotary, where we have a global mindset. It is with honor that the City of Topeka welcomes all of you to be here. We appreciate your contributions, we appreciate your friendship, and we look forward to celebrating those friendships for a long time. Thank you and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, Mayor Michelle. We've had a last-minute change in speakers today. Rehan was going to do the presentation, but apparently he has a family emergency, so we wish him well. But we have a gentleman who is very knowledgeable about the topic that's going to be talked about today, and that is about the Mid-America Asian Cultural Association, and many of our guests here are part of that. Steve Boyda is a native Kansan. You may have heard his last name because his wife Nancy has been in the news over a very long time. Steve is a graduate of not only K-State, but also KU, and I believe he said Emporia as well. He is an attorney, has a couple of master's degrees. He's practiced law for about 40 years. He became associated with MACA, I believe you call it, and Rehan approached Steve and asked him to come and visit. As a result, he became a member, and then he became a member of the board of directors, and he is now an advisor for Mid-American Asian Cultural Association. So we have a very interesting program, and there'll be several people that get to talk as well, but I'll turn this over to Steve, and we look forward to your comments.
Good afternoon. I went to a number of schools. I wandered around for a number of years before I got here. I want to spend a little bit of time with you talking about MACA. Before I do that, I want to tell you that I used to be a Rotarian many years ago, and the thing I remembered most was the outreach of Rotarians to be global in nature, recognizing that the world was growing smaller, and if we were to maintain peace and prosperity among our peoples, that we must reach out and sit at the table to break bread together, to talk together, to deal with problems together. So I'm incredibly proud of the work that Rotarians here in Topeka have done and those worldwide. For that reason, it's very fitting that you should have the guests that Rehan arranged for you to have today. How rich it is that Rehan Riza from Bangladesh originally comes into this club as a local businessman and brings you today the list of diplomats that I put at your tables. Did you see those lists going around? And I'm going to introduce these folks in a minute, but I want to talk now about the organization of MACA. Is that better? Wow. I can hear myself now. MACA is the Mid-America Asian Cultural Association. MACA was formed as a foundation, a 501c3, for the express purpose of helping peoples know each other around the world, to promote the identity of each of our cultures and how it blends in as we become Americans. Every one of us in this room came from somewhere. My roots go back to Poland and to Germany. The rest of the room comes from somewhere. So the MACA was put together by a young lady by the name of Carol Lee. Carol, would you stand for a moment, please? And you'll hear from her for a couple of minutes. Now, I understand that when the bell rings one, I remember Rotary rules. At any rate, what is MACA? MACA is an umbrella organization to which many other associations can become a member. The Japanese, the Taiwanese, all the Asian Rim nations. Most of them have their own associations here in the United States and certainly in Kansas City. Carol came up with the idea that we need to work together closer if we are to invite Americans, guys like me, businessmen like me, to come in and sit at the table. So she started the organization, and it has grown to, I've allowed this count, I think it's 24 member associations now under MACA. What do? Well, we have a huge festival every year for one thing. That festival features the culture of each country. I have seen some of the most beautiful dances, the most beautiful cultural dress from all of these countries. It happens every year, and it's coming up Saturday at the Overland Park Convention Center. Now, there are many activities that MACA has beyond just the festival itself. Now, MACA has a youth club to work with its youth to offer scholarships, to encourage kids to do the best they can do, to get into the best schools they can get into so they can become part of our community and be prosperous while they're here. MACA has an occupational education program. MACA has a student award and exchange program. We all can be part of that. MACA has a volunteer club to volunteer in communities when there is times of need. MACA has an outreach to all kinds of other organizations, including units of local government, fire, police, and so on. They all know who MACA is because they've become good neighbors in our community. They are our neighbors. The Asian Cultural Festival started off about 5 years ago. It started off with about 2,500 people attending the festival. Then it grew to 5,000. Then it grew to 9,600. And we anticipate with the move to Overland Park Center, Convention Center, that this year we're likely to have as many as 10,000 people, depending on the weather. Right now it looks good. At the conventions, at the festivals, you will get a flavor of not only the culture in terms of performing arts, but you will also have speakers. There will be yo-yo contests, there will be singing, there will be dancing, there will be martial arts, There'll be every kind of Asian food that you can think of, and you will leave saying, oh my God, I want to go back. We would ask the community here to support your local associations, and feel free, and we invite you to come to Kansas City when everybody gets together, not only the associations from here, but those in Kansas City as well. All right. In as much as I'm supposed to keep this down to a few minutes, I've taken the PowerPoint and kind of squeezed it a little bit, because I want to make sure that we accomplish one thing, and that is I'd like to have you, I'd like to have all the delegations, everyone in the delegations, everyone stand, please. Everyone stand, please. In the delegation. At this point, what I would like to do is introduce you to the Consul General of the People's Republic of China, Hong Li. Mr. Li, would you please come up and share a few words with the folks?
Good afternoon. Thank you. It is our great honor to be invited by MACA to come down to Kansas from Chicago to join here for the Asian Heritage Month celebration, as well as to join the Belt and Road Initiative conference, which will be held in Kansas City, Overland Park, tomorrow. We are very glad that we could have this opportunity to meet our members here for Rotary Club Topeka. We are all from Asian countries. As all our friends know that nowadays, actually Asian countries have energetically explored development pathways suited to our national conditions and greatly boosted global development through our development. Working side by side with the rest of the world in time of difficulty to tackle the international financial crisis, Asia has emerged as an important engine driving world economic recovery and growth. In recent years, Asia has contributed to over 2/3 of global growth, instilling much needed confidence in the world. What is more, Asia's cooperation with other countries of the world, including the United States, has great vitality and promising prospects. We are also very glad to see that nowadays, with the effort from the relevant parties, the hotspot of Korean Peninsula nuclear issue has shown a prospect for coming down. We are very glad that the talks between the North and South Korean leaders have realized, and also the meeting between President Trump and the leader, Mr. Kim Jong-un of North Korea, is going to take place soon. With this kind of efforts, we are having a very good prospect for denuclearizing the Korean Peninsula, as well as solving this thorny issue in a political way. So all this kind of a good momentum in Asia actually brings even more confidence for us to have stronger growth in Asia, prosperity in Asia, as well as peace in Asia. And with this kind of efforts, with this kind of new development, we firmly believe that Asia will contribute even more to the world development as well as stability. So we are really glad that we could share this kind of very important new development in Asia. Asia and America, nowadays, we can partners of development. Asia is going on a path of developing ourselves so as that we can make our peoples live better life. And America is reinvigorating your economy and also to have new development for this very important economy. So we sincerely hope that in the coming years, Asian countries as well as America, we can join hands in achieving common development and to make our peoples benefit from this kind of very important cooperation. Thank you very much.
We must keep in mind it was our own General Eisenhower in Kansas, President Eisenhower, who said that we must strive for peace. It is in all people's interest to do everything we can to find peace. That the alternative of war is the most inhumane aspect of human behavior that exists. And that gives us the impetus to do what the General says, and that is find common ground and live in peace. At this point, I would like to have the leaders of each delegation stand, please. I'd like to have them give their name and their position and introduce themselves to you. Sir?
Thank you, and good afternoon, Rotary and Topeka. I'm Rizwan Said Sheikh. I'm the Deputy Chief of Mission. Traveled even far from Chicago. I'm coming from Washington, D.C. To attend this Mecca series of events starting tomorrow, going to the festival. We believe, as the Chinese Consul General has pointed out, that it is essential for promotion of peace and prosperity across nations, across continents, to have events like this, which bridge the gaps of understandings and misperceptions, and make cultures come together and work together towards promoting peace and stability in all parts of the world, moving together, the entire planet, the entire population of this planet, moving together towards the cherished and common goal of peace and prosperity that we wish to accomplish. I'll be very brief, and we would be participating, Pakistan being the country of honor and focus next year. We hope to bring our culture, our business prospects as a country to you next year. In the meanwhile, also we'll be working together with the community here in Kansas, in Mid-America, to further the goals that we have charted out for ourselves. May your sunflowers continue to blossom in the meanwhile, and may your shrimps be succulent.
Good afternoon. I am Sheikh Abdur Hussain, Commercial Counselor, Bangladesh Embassy, Washington, D.C. First of all, I convey my heartfelt thanks to Mecca and the mayor who made us united and host this launch here. My country is in South Asia and bordered by few Asian giants, India, China, and my neighbor is Nepal and Myanmar. So I honestly invite you to visit, all of you visit my country, because we have many places of interest. We have the largest mangrove forest, longest unbroken sea beach, and currently we're one of the largest troop contributing countries in United Nations forces. Besides my colleague, as he pointed out some point about peacekeeping, my country currently hosting more than 1 million Rohingya people as they are brutally displaced from their own country. So we, as a nation, feel that when in any nation or a group of people when in need of highest humanitarian emergency, we should respond to them. So we're doing that. And we greatly appreciate the countries who are beside us and encouraging us, supporting us. And lastly, I must say, my country is just East Asia and is a hub of East Asia and South Asia. So it is a very attractive place for economic activities too. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Gina Homoradin. I'm the Consul General of the Philippines, based in Chicago. Actually, I just arrived 2 months ago. I serve as Consul General in Hawaii. But I look forward to a very productive and challenging assignment here. Actually, I cover 16 states in the Midwest, and Kansas City and Missouri, of course Chicago, Illinois is one of them. But I thank the MACA for inviting us here. I think we have also a very strong Filipino community here in Kansas who will be joining us, supporting our participation in MACA, and of course our mayor of Topeka. As I would like to point out that the Philippines is a very close economic relations with the state of Kansas and the United States in general as far as agricultural products are concerned. I noted that the Philippines is the 11th largest export market for U.S. farm products. We import soybean meal, dairy products, and other farm products from the United States. And in turn, the Philippines exports processed fruits and vegetables, nuts, tropical oils to the United States. And I think this is a very good basis for further cooperation because the Philippines also has a very large agricultural sector. And another thing is many of our community members, people here, the Filipinos in Kansas, started out when they came here as nurses and doctors as early as 1970s when there was a shortage of doctors and nurses. Many of them came from the Philippines, and many of them also stayed and become part of the community. And I'm very proud of them. They have been they have contributed a lot to the development and the vibrancy of the state. Thank you very much, and have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosmalawati Khalid. I'm Consul General of Indonesia based in Chicago, and I've been in Chicago for almost 1.5 years. The consulate covers 13 states in the Midwest plus Kentucky. And I'm visiting Kansas. This is my third time actually to be here within a span of almost I think 1 month. We have the mission of strengthening bilateral relations between Indonesia and the Midwest, including Kansas. So that's why I'm here to look into possibilities of strengthening the cooperation in various fields. For those of you who are not familiar with Indonesia, well, Indonesia is an archipelago of 6 states. We have more than 17,000 islands. The number of population is 260 million people. We are the fourth most populous country. And for US citizens, we provide visa-free facilities. So we invite you to come to Indonesia to look into possibilities in terms of tourism, in terms of business. And also, I think I would like to appreciate MACA for inviting me to come here, and also Rotary for hosting this lunch, as well as the mayor. And I think what MACA is doing is very important to promote understanding among different countries and different peoples. So this is really an important event, I believe, to know more about all of us, and then also about the potentials, how we can go from here. I know that Indonesian community is not that large. There are about, I think, 525 people Indonesians residing in Kansas. So I think it is very important that MACA organize this kind of as Asian cultural festival, so that we will know each other. So I invite you to come to Indonesia for tourism purposes. You will love it there. You may be familiar with Bali. It's a very nice place, but we also have the largest Buddhist temple in Indonesia, although the 88% of the population is Muslim. And we have this one animals that we call it a dragon, Komodo dragon. That's the only dragon living in Indonesia. So welcome to Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Did I cover everyone? Yes. Okay, very good. How about if we give the whole delegation a big hand? Now I want to introduce one other special guest. How are we doing on time? Got some time for questions. Great. The young lady that started MACA, that poured a lot of energy and resources of her own, blood, sweat, and tears for many years, is with us today. She's the founder of MACA. She got it all started. She's the spark plug that keeps the engine running. And now she's joined by a whole lot of other spark plugs. And the engine is running smooth and beautiful. Carol Lee. Carol Lee. She's going to share her story.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm not young. I'm 49 years old. I'm the member of Omeza Rotary Club. 3 years ago, I represented the Omeza Rotary Club to Shanghai and Beijing. So we have a very good meeting. I exchanged the Shanghai and the Shanghai Rotary Club and the Beijing Rotary Club. Fly back to here. All the members very exciting because that's the first time. I want to share a little bit our association's video first. Okay, let's dig out. We do have some problem with the sound system, but just let me talk a little bit on my background. I grew up from a very big family, which means a big family because my mom adopted my grandma, and my grandma have adopted 20 children. So that's why I grew up in a very big family. We're not very rich because my grandma took care of 20 children until they go to, all the 20 children go to the university. But we're not rich family, but we are so happy. My Chinese name is Huan, which means happy. And my English name is Carol, also happy. all my family wants happy first, okay? I wish a happy life. Yeah, this video, that's the reason I want to show this video because they have so many beautiful Asia's picture right there. And yeah, our designer create very good the video right here. So let's see for today's work on that. Yeah, go back talk to my story. Okay, so yeah, when I grow up in this big family, of course, I need to work hard because I need to take care of 7 family members. So since I'm 14 years old, I started work and do part-time work in started the school. So every day I work until the midnight, and then I started my homework. So that's why until now I'm still always on the stress, always work hard. I just cannot stop myself. Okay. So I work very hard to take care of the family, the financial part, and then I graduated in the business school in the university. Then I started my first company. So after that, I'm in charge many years as CEO at a big company in China. Then I find out I need to marry, and that time I'm 35 years old. During that time, it's hard to somebody want to marry me. So my mom gave my husband to me. She said, okay, that's the right person. Okay. I said, okay. I never met my husband. The first time I saw my husband, now we married the same day. Yeah, it's so personal, but I mean, I'm open. Yeah. Yeah. So my husband requested me, if you want to marry me, you cannot go out to work. So I'm a background as a professional CEO, but okay, it's the age to get married, to have family. I think it's the right time because I've been in a long process since I'm 14 years old, so I got to take a break. Okay. So I moved to the United States. I have a good family right here. And like everybody does, I take the second language class, I take the accounting class, and I do the volunteer work with many community. Now it's okay?
Yep.
Okay, can we go sounds a little bit? Sure. Okay, now enjoy this first. China opera. Mongolia. Okay, I talk and you guys watch this video. Yeah, I don't think I have enough time. So I started Maca because I find out, I volunteer many places, and I find out Asia group, they do the individual event by themselves. So that's why I think it's a good opportunity to put everybody together, share the information at one table. So 5 years ago, I'm trying to talk to each country. The first year we have 30 Asia countries join us. Until now we have 24 Asia countries. This year we have an additional event which is Asia Business Summit. The reason we have the Business Summit is culture to bring the business. That's the idea. During this special time, I think more people can share our Asia information will be good to help local factory and also farmers. So that's why I create the first Asia Business Summit with the World Trade Center of Great Kansas, Great Kansas. This will be tomorrow afternoon at Owner Park Convention Center, 2 o'clock. Because this is the first business summit in United States, Asia first business summit in United States. So tomorrow we will have a press release conference, morning, Kaufman Conference Center, 10 o'clock. Then afternoon we have the Asia Business Summit. So welcome everybody who's interested to learn from our Consul General, the information. Also we have the Topeka Chamber of Commerce, Oleza, Leewood, Lawrence. We have several Chamber of Commerce. We'll be there, the leader will be there, and they love to social with you guys and have some fun and learn from each other. So my time is up. Okay. Any questions?
I think our time is about up. Distinguished Rotarians, thank you. Distinguished guests, thank you. I turn the program back over.
Today has been an amazing honor and privilege to have our guests here, to get to meet you, to get to hear your wonderful stories, and to help us all become part of this wonderful world that's getting smaller every day. So thank you for sharing your time with us today. We're so grateful. It is our tradition in our club, after we have a program, to present a book to a local school, Ross Elementary, which is a school that has a huge need. And today's book is called Fly, Fly Guy, and we would like to have as many of our Asian guests today sign this book as possible. Next week, we will be right back here, and we will be hearing about the Freedom Festival and hear about our reenactors. And we will close today with the four-way test plus one. And for our guest today, the four-way test is the way Rotarians try to live their lives. So please stand for the four-way test plus one. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And will it be fun?